Jay-Z is fighting back against serious allegations and has just filed a brand new motion that is turning heads. Let's jump right into this, man. Jay-Z is fighting back against serious allegations and has just filed a brand new motion that is turning heads. He's accusing attorney Tony Buzbee of baseless claims, sloppy fact-checking. It's like he is fact-checking like Facebook does these days. They're not doing it anymore. And even more damaging of his own reputation, which is Jay-Z. Let's take a look real quick. Fair use.
Attorney Tony Buzbee. He's demanding a court sanction Tony Buzbee for what Jay calls the false rape lawsuit that's damaged his reputation. So basically, in the filing, he points out that Tony Buzbee did not withdraw the lawsuit after the NBC News interview with the accuser. And remember, there was a lot of holes in that story. The attack allegedly occurred at a large white residence with a gated U-shaped driveway that was about 20 minutes away from the VMAs by car. But there were photographs showing Jay at Club Lotus in Manhattan after the award. Even her father came out and was like, yeah, I don't really remember that. Finally, Jay also points at her claim that she spoke to Benji Madden while at the after party. But after the interview aired, Benji's reps told the NBC that he wasn't even in New York for the 2000 VMAs because Good Charlotte was touring in the Midwest.
There was something I read where the judge gave Jay the option to be like, out of the case completely. And Jay was like, nah, I'm coming after this dude.
Good for Jay. Let's see how this happens. Jay.
RJ.
This KR is how a case is supposed to be fought. Especially Jay isn't an attorney, but he has attorneys. And the first statement he posted on social media, that was more like a ad hominem attack, trying to discredit Buzbee. But hey, this is a legal game, and attorneys are like legal athletes, right? And that means that an NFL player, this guy can be like the goofiest guy ever. Take for example Russell Wilson. They keep saying this guy is like they don't talk well about him, put it like that. But hey, he goes out for the Steelers, he makes some big plays. You might think whatever you want about him, but on the field, that's how he gets judged. Now let's not talk about last season, that's something else. The same goes for the attorneys. So Jay's attorneys had to do this in the first place. If you believe that Buzbee was abusing or misusing the legal system, then there are appropriate ways to go about it. And attacking someone personally, like you're at a cookout, that's not how it works. But hey guys, thank you for being here. Remember to rate the show by pressing the like button. Follow us on our other socials, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel as well as our Clips channel, Double Thought Clips. And when you subscribe, hit that notification icon as well. We see that a lot of you watch, but for some reason a lot of you are not subscribed. When I say a lot of you, we can also see a lot of recurring watchers, so that means that you are getting a certain value out of this. And sometimes you engage with us, but the way that you can help this show is by subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification icon. That's one. And of course, we have introduced a comment of the week section a couple of months ago, so we will highlight in every show we will highlight in every show a thought of the week. If you think you have a hot take, let it be known, and we will, if selected as the best comment, we will it will get a mention in a future show. KR, what can you tell me?
In December of 2024, there was this shocking allegations which surfaced against Jay-Z as Tony Buzbee filed a lawsuit earlier, he added Jay-Z to a claim that he S8 a 13-year-old after the 2000 MTV Awards, MTV VMAs. And the lawsuit was filed on behalf of Jane Doe. Following that, Jay-Z tried to get, or let's say Jay-Z's lawyer tried to get Jane Doe to reveal herself. The judge agreed not to do that because, according to the judge, she should still have the ability to move anonymously until the time is right to reveal who she is. But after that, the judge also agreed or confirmed that Jay can file a motion to dismiss, and that was what was filed right now. So basically, three main things that he's pointing out: the timeline issues. Jay-Z was at the Manhattan nightclub as said in the video after the VMAs and not at the location. The second claim was that the accuser's story about the Jumbotron at Radio City Music Hall was also debunked because the script didn't exist back then. So that's also a timeline issue or a moment in time issue. Her father, I think we covered that as well. Her father denied that he ever claimed picked her up. He has no memory of it. And also the crazy part is the Benji Madden alibi, where she said she talked to Benji, but Benji Madden wasn't even in New York City at the time because he was on tour with Good Charlotte in the Midwest. So those are the main three things. Last week we talked about this again. We dove deeper into another angle, which was pointed out by Gene Deal, and that's not included in this lawsuit. But one angle that Gene Deal also said is back then they didn't use limos, so they only use SUVs. So that's an additional one. It's not in here, but they can also add it later on. But I guess maybe they have a point right here to basically point out and get this dismissed as soon as possible. RJ.
I think that the case is very weak for Jane Doe if the three parts you started talking about are true, especially the first and the third one. So if it is true that, well, no, all three actually. If it is true that Jay wasn't there, if it is true that the father has no recollection, and the third one was, what was the third one?
Benji Madden.
Yeah?
Benji Madden, yeah. That's the fourth one, actually.
What was the third one then?
The third one was the dad. The second one was the Jumbotron at Radio City. That didn't exist back then.
Okay.
So there was no Jumbotron. She said she was watching the show on the Jumbotron, but there was no Jumbotron.
And the limousine thing, which it's not mentioned, but those are 5 things. And as I always say, in cases like this, where we're talking about immoral acts, the longer you wait, the more difficult it becomes. This is the risk, right? But it seems like if you have to value the case, it seems like a very weak case. Not to say that it's true or false, because technically speaking, someone can always get a trauma, have certain blockades within. It can get very heavy. It can get very intense. But a judge cannot, and I don't know if this goes to a jury, but you cannot judge a case by intentions or what you think is right or not right. You need to look at what you can substantiate. And if you can't prove what you're saying, or at least convincingly argue that there's a high probability that it happened, if very key, essential aspects of your case are not strong, you have a weak case. That doesn't mean that what happened, that doesn't mean that it's true or not true. It just means that you have a very weak case. And in this case, it seems like Jane Doe and of course Buzbee, who's representing her, have a weak case.
Yeah, it's I do agree with you on that, man. It seems like it's not gonna go the way Tony Buzbee imagined this would go. I think he expected Jay to maybe settle behind the scenes, but it's turning into a total quagmire. Because as soon as the accuser went on NBC and started talking craziness and basically revealed the hand, it basically showed that Tony might not have done the basic fact checking. I mean, if you would think in that case that the dad would could substantiate or confirm what happened. And if the dad who picked her up can't even recall picking up his 13-year-old daughter in NYC all the way from Alabama, I think.
Which is something
that's-
you would remember. Which is,
would
I mean, we're
remember.
not talking about someone living in New York picking up someone in New York, you know? Because if you've lived in New York for like your whole entire life, then hey, at some point you won't. It is possible that you will forget.
Yeah.
But in this case, they're from Alabama.
It's supposed to be a 5-hour drive or something like that. So
Is it that?
I think she's from Alabama, but back then they lived someplace else, somewhere up north. I think it was a 5-day. I think I saw it in one of these coverage by the news. They showed the route she's supposed to have taken.
Okay.
It's about a 5-hour drive.
But then not from Alabama, because from Alabama it's 15 hours, almost 16.
Yeah, but she's now from Alabama. She lives in Alabama, but I think back then when she was younger, she didn't live in Alabama.
Okay, gotcha.
So, so it's a 5-hour drive where she's used to live, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, it's quite crazy. It's quite crazy that someone can try to destroy your reputation just to get a settlement out of you.